us on debate number 1 this evening, divided Aakrosh, and is it competitive politics here in New Delhi? I'm joined by Nalin Kohli, national spokesperson of the BJP and advocate. Joining me from the BJP headquarters, Naresh Gujral, member of parliament of the Rajya Sabha from the Shiromani Akali Dal, also joining me live from Delhi. Panda, member of parliament in the Lok Sabha from the Biju Janata Dal, joining me live from Delhi. Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh, leader of the JDU, joining me live from Patna. They're going to be taking on Mohammad Salim, member of parliament of the Lok Sabha from the CPIM, joining me live from Delhi. Rajiv Desai, chairman and CEO of Consulting, also joining me live from Delhi. And Sudhindra Bhadoria, leader of the Bahujan Samaj Party, joining me live from Delhi. The big question is, and Panda, let me come across to you, is it about a completely divided opposition? Because the Biju Janata Dal, the Janata Dal United saw no merit in the rollback call of Mamata Banerjee. Is that why the Aakrosh Divas was a complete flop today?
The Biju Janata Dal has supported the principle behind demonetization. As you know, our leader and Chief Minister, Shri Naveen Patnaik, has come out openly on this, and I and my colleagues have all been speaking out about it regularly. This is we believe, a very important step, a first step to start cleaning out the hordes of black money in the system. But at the same time, we are sensitive to the difficulties that people have been facing. And our approach has been different. I mean, one approach is to have dharnas and protest rallies, but our approach has been the more constructive approach. Right from the next day after the announcement, the Chief Minister of Odisha conducted review meetings and has been taking proactive steps to ensure that Odisha citizens are helped. Panchayat offices have been set up to help distribute cash. The banks have been coordinated with, and the Chief Minister has written and met the Prime Minister. So we think this is the way to deal with the transition period when people are facing inconvenience rather than take out protest rallies.
Fair enough, Panda, but let me take that to Sudhindra Bhadoria. Sudhindra Bhadoria, the Bahujan Samajwadi Party is opposed to the move, but you won't cooperate with the Samajwadi Party and participate in the same protest as the Samajwadi Party does. The left will not go with the Congress, so they had two different rallies from the same point, Mandi House in New Delhi today. The left called for a bandh in Kolkata, Mamata Banerjee didn't. She had a protest rally. So isn't it all a completely divided opposition, Sudhindra Bhadoria, which is where you fail to make a point on a day you call for the Aakrosh Divas? People are not with you. Who are you really protesting for?
Well, you know, the voice is not so clear, but however, whatever I've been able to understand from your question, let me answer it. You see, the Notebandi per se, we have made our stand very clear. Behan Mayawati ji has spoken out in the parliament and outside the parliament. And let me reiterate some of the points. This Notebandi has brought the entire nation to a standstill. As far as the economy is concerned, as far as the farmers are concerned, their life is paralyzed. The whole nation has been paralyzed and there is no activity whatsoever except for people standing in long queues across in Delhi to Trivandrum, from Punjab to Assam to Gujarat. That is the scene.
But Sudhindra Bhadoria, you were adding to that paralysis. Sudhindra Bhadoria, you were adding to that paralysis by calling for the Aakrosh Divas.
No.
There were traffic jams and little else.
Paramount duty.
No other impact other than traffic jams on common people.
Let me speak. Let me speak out. It is our paramount duty as being in the opposition what Mr. Arun Jaitley had stated. It is the duty of the government to carry out the business and run the country and the parliament. And they have failed to do so. They have failed to provide relief to the people after having declared this. The people have been...
Sudhindra Bhadoria,
over 100 people have died in this country. People are standing in long queues. Farmers are not able to carry on their activity. Loads of trains full of people are going from Bombay, from Delhi,
Right.
from Calcutta to Bihar.
But where
to
is
UP,
this question
and to
asked
the
in
rest of the
Parliament?
country.
Where is this question
country has
asked in
been
Parliament, and where is the
paralyzed
answer sought
and
in Parliament?
Complete economic stagnation.
Where
And
is this
the
question
country
asked in
is
Parliament,
going
and
to
where is
pay
this answer
very
sought, Mr.
heavily
Bhadoria?
Because of this misadventure of Mr. Modi.
Mr.
Let
Bhadoria.
me say this very clearly, and it is because
Mr. Bhadoria,
of this misadventure.
good evening. Anand
people are
Narasimhan here.
suffering,
My
and
question
that
is,
what
where
I
is this
think there
question
a
asked on the floor of the House, and where is the answer sought from the people of the who are responsible, that is the government? Why has not that been done? And
Well,
please
Mr.
answer this.
Modi
Please answer
does
this.
not-
Have you
Mr.
heard? Did you
Modi,
hear
the
Mr.
Prime
Jay Panda
Minister,
just
does
now?
not respect
Did you
the
hear
Parliament.
Mr. Jay Panda
He does
just
not
now?
listen to the-
How many
he
political
doesn't
parties
want to listen to the
have done
grievances of the people of this
what the
country.
BJD
He
claims it has
is
done in
only
Odisha?
interested in listening to his own voice. He has not uttered a
Mr.
single
Bhadoria,
word on the
Mr.
100
Bhadoria,
people who have died in this
correct.
country.
Mr. Bhadoria, you're saying that he's only you're taking potshots at the Prime Minister, saying he's only interested in saying hearing his own voice. Secondly, then you say he's not said a single word in Parliament. Thirdly, then you have your allies in the opposition who are saying unless he comes into Parliament, we will not debate. Now they know all parliamentary procedure. If he comes and sits in Parliament, you will say, what is the Prime Minister doing, spending his time inside Parliament, whereas he should be working with the people to try and ease the pains of the people. So either ways, you are going to go after him. He knows that very well. We know that very well. What are you doing for the people? My question, Mohammad Salim, before we go, no, sir, I have to bring in the other panelists. I'm going to go across to our other panelists. Mr. Mohammad Salim, Mr. Mohammad Salim, has the left government in Kerala done the same as the Biju Janata Dal in Odisha? Mr. Bhadoria, going to Mr. Mohammad Salim, what Mr. Jay Panda said today, that this is what we have done from day one as a responsible government, as a responsibility to the people of the state. We have backed the remonetization exercise, but we have also tried to ease the pain of the common man on ground, did what we could within the federal structure. Has the left government done that in Kerala, sir?
Right. First of all, I thank you for your tireless effort to bring all the opposition together in a front which is not reality. Secondly, about Kerala, you should know as a journalist, as a correspondent and as a news channel that Kerala government was the first to write to the Chief Minister and allowing that all the public utilities will be by the state government run, that they will accept these 500 and 1000 rupees notes as long as banks are receiving it. And secondly, to save the agriculture and cooperative sector.
But why was there a band there today?
Not only the MPs made this Prime Minister, Finance Minister, allow me complete. I have listened your 10 minutes, your campaign. Let me say something in response to your question.
Go ahead.
And
go ahead, Mr.
secondly, that the Chief Minister himself wanted to apprise the Prime Minister. Yes, I'm saying Prime Minister, but Prime Minister has no time to meet the Chief Minister. You should know this and note it. And Biju Janata Dal also accepted that, though any move against the corruption or black money is welcome, but the plight of the people is there, which some of the news channels and the ruling party is refusing to recognize. But even in Odisha, people are suffering. I'm thankful to the BJD government because they are very careful about this state subjects and people. Similarly, we are demanding to all the state governments and central governments to come together.
Why aren't other state governments taking the same responsibility?
Now the Prime Minister is...
So why aren't other state governments doing the same?
Now the question is the entire... Yes. Now you think the central government is more responsible and the state governments are not, which is not correct. It's a central government, a state government, and the people and all the people's differences should be taken on board. Instead of the Prime Minister tried to do it...
No, Mr. Mohammad Salim, sir.
A fight alone.
Sir,
you have to take the
short straight question, because we will bring in our other panelists also. So please tell me, sir, whether you are in government or in opposition in the states, should the left have called for a Bengal Bandh today? Already you are saying that trade is slow because of this entire remonetization exercise. Business is slow. Everybody is trying to make ends meet and make things happen and to keep the ball rolling. Should you have pushed for a 12-hour Bandh in Bengal today? Should you have pushed for a Bandh in Kerala?
And Mohammad Salim, if I can add to Anand's question, the question is, are you embarrassed with the fact that your senior leader Biman Bose actually comes out and said that the entire call for a Bandh in Bengal was a wrong step? So which way are you going? Your own leaders are not happy with the call for a Bandh.
I'm thankful, Navika, that you are not saying Bharat Bandh, because Prime Minister coined this word Bharat Bandh. All the political parties in Parliament, outside Parliament, have asked for a protest day, and various political parties has this liberty to take their own stand and various programs. We said march separately, strike together. That's the coordination. Now, in Bengal, in Kerala, in Tripura, they have given the call, and Biman Basu, I'm directly answering, Biman Basu is the chairman of the Left Front, and not only Left Front but 17 political parties together and 2 parties from outside. They have given this call on Friday night. Now there was Saturday, Sunday, and Biman Basu himself has said candidly that lack of preparation, and that's why from the very beginning logistics, ATM, banks, all financial services together with other essential services were taken out of the Bandh cover. It's the first time banks, post offices, everything from the Friday notice you see, because no hardship should be caused by us. Secondly, the people
but
are in the hardship.
But you are causing only hardships to people.
Every
from
day,
the
from
word
Delhi,
go,
from
Mr. Mohammad Salim, from the word go, Bandh means hardship for people. So obviously you miscalculated
to be more
your
responsive
steps.
and responsible.
But do that on the floor of the House. That's the point. Let me get in Naresh Gujral of the Shiromani Akali Dal. Naresh Gujral, do you think political parties like yours, who were initially reserved about the fact that the remonetization call had been given by the Prime Minister, are you now fully convinced, and do you think the opposition somewhere has miscalculated what the Prime Minister calls this entire battle against black money?
Look, first of all, we never had any reservations. Let me make that very clear. All that Mr. Sukhbir Badal said was that people are facing difficulties and government should come to their aid as quickly as possible. But we have fully supported this from day one, primarily because this is a war against corruption. Corruption and black money are two sides of the same coin, and people of India understand that. Unfortunately, some of the parties that were protesting today, they are totally out of sync with the national mood and they don't understand. But those leaders who stand for clean politics, who stand for a corruption-free India, be it Naveen Patnaik or Nitish Kumar, they have disassociated themselves from this move. So I am absolutely certain that once these political parties let Parliament function, the Prime Minister will come and answer every single critic.
And Akali leaders like Sukhbir Badal, they
were confused.
And a corruption-free
no, not just that, Mohammad Salim. The thing is, Nalin Kohli, the fact is that the opposition is confused on whether or not this was a Bandh or not. There was confusion there. Whether or not, on what rule to get the Prime Minister to come and discuss or debate in Parliament, they are confused about that also. Aakrosh was a nice movie, but this Divas is a flop, sir. This has not worked.
Anand, I think let's look at the totality of the situation. This is a fight in a series of steps against black money, which was the commitment of Prime Minister Narendra Modi as the Prime Ministerial candidate and of his government the minute they assumed office. The very first step was the SIT, which happened within days of the government coming in. The next thing you saw was to look at foreign properties. Then you had the income declaration scheme. You have this. Today, 2 amendments have been proposed in Parliament, which talk about a window, which may be a final window. Some are talking that there will be other schemes coming. So I think we need to bear in mind that this is a constant, continuous fight, because black money is something that's been generated over 7 decades, is not going to vanish immediately. So what's interesting is political parties that have been there in government for a long time, they don't want to talk of the cause of black money. They don't want to see how black money got, or the ill or the disease of black money got created. But when a cure is offered, they are criticizing the cure. Additionally, I think the Jan Aakrosh as a name itself was a giveaway, because if it was a Jan, if the Aakrosh was of the Janta, you would have seen the entire country erupting into some kind of, situation where they would all be on the streets. That didn't happen. Political parties are entitled to want to go out, protest in whatever manner they deem fit. But to believe that it was a success, as the reports are showing, absolutely not, because the issue is such. It's a fight against black money. So what happens is, in such a fight, the questions will be asked of those who don't support it. You can't have this attitude that you say we are with the move but we are against so and so. There can't be a but in a
But
fight.
Nalin
like
Kohli
this.
questions.
The Prime Minister was
Nalin
candid.
Kohli questions will also be asked of the government. Nalin Kohli,
Yes,
the
I'm coming
questions
to
will
the
also
government.
be asked of the government, because when you made your income disclosure scheme, you said there will be no other scheme. But now another window is open. There's another tax amendment that has been put on the floor of the House in Lok Sabha. So you are constantly creating windows. So that's one question that will be asked. But let me go across to Rajiv Desai. Rajiv Desai, the question
I can answer
is
that in
also,
one sentence if you permit
if
me.
you are united. Yeah, I'll come back to you, Nalin, but let me get in Rajiv Desai's opening comments first. Rajiv Desai, the question is, if you're so open and committed to an opposition where you're trying to get 15 and 18 parties together, that's what the Congress seems to be doing in Parliament. The fact is, when it comes to a protest, you don't even unite with the left. Left does a protest at 1 o'clock at Mandi House. Congress does a protest at 5 o'clock. Why can't you just get together if you're so united on the one issue which is against the remonetization drive that the government has announced? And if you think that this is not the way to fight black money, what are the options that your government gave in the 10 years that it was in power?
I didn't have a government, so let's start with that.
Well, the party that you support.
Navika, there is a protest on the street. I can support any party I want. That's none of anybody's business. But the fact of the matter is that I'm an Indian citizen and I'm concerned with the way things are going. Number one, this sweeping announcement, which was intended to garner black money, was taken in some sort of under some limited exercise of judgment. In any case, as everybody has noted, when this coverage has hit the international media too, where it's been noted that the protests, so many people are out in the street and so forth, is largely because, even though the BJP may have 288 seats in Parliament, it has only 31% of the vote. 69% of the people voted against it. And they've taken this earth-shattering decision, which...
Where was the 69 people today on the
BJP
street?
Guy had to,
Rajiv Desai, were those 69% were they on the street
Will you
today?
please keep quiet? Will you please keep quiet?
No, were they on the street? Were they on the street today?
You asked...
Were they on the street today? I'm asking you. You quoted the numbers. I'm asking you, were they on the street today?
I'm just telling you, the protest...
Were they on the street today?
The
Congress did not have enough muscle to conduct a capital-wide
protest. You just go on and on and on.
Rajiv Desai,
you are trying to slant
no,
this story.
I'm just going to make a point and then you can rebut, sir.
You know what is... Wait.
Here's the fact. The fact is that the Congress did its rally
in March.
No, Rajiv Desai. Rajiv Desai, hang on. Rajiv Desai, we will continue to have the show day in and day out, Rajiv Desai. You and me are not going anywhere else. But please answer this question to me. Congress leaders from all across Maharashtra converged into Kalina, and then they marched up to Kherwadi. That's what they did. You have been to Mumbai, sir. How large is that area? Congress party across Maharashtra leaders converge in Kalina and walk up to Kherwadi, and that too with NCP cadre, not Congress cadre, sir.
As it's already
in the national capital,
refusing to look at
the Congress bigwigs walk from Parliament Street, Mandi House to Parliament Street, and they are not even able to fill the roads. Their own cadre did not turn up.
That the GNP is going to take a hit of more than 2.5%. Not only that,
I am talking Aakrosh Divas, you are talking economic advisors and the thinkers, what they have to say. Rajiv Desai, I'm asking you a straightforward question. I'm asking you a straightforward question, sir. I'm asking you a straightforward question, sir, Rajiv Desai. I'm asking you, do you after seeing what happened across India today,
the fact is, what Mr.
We care about what the opposition is doing as its responsibility and role as opposition. They called for an Aakrosh Divas and they didn't get any. They didn't get any. That's the reality. Do you admit that? Do you believe?
Worldwide, everywhere in the world,
Nalin Kohli.
coverage of this. Because
Nalin Kohli.
Which
You know, I find it
Which government?
humorous.
The
even
world has also
ironical.
seen, the world has also seen that across all the protests put
Here whose
together,
Aakrosh is absolutely going out of the
You hear
roof.
about rationing.
One is tempted
You
to
hear about
ask whose
rationing
Aakrosh
food,
are they
rationing
representing? The
petrol,
people are not
rationing
in
all this.
anger,
Whoever heard
but
about
the
rationing
panelists are
money?
going out of the
No,
roof.
the
some of
Aakrosh
them
is because
in
the
anger.
Aakrosh, there was no Aakrosh.
I
on the
wonder whether they are the ones who feel hit by this entire move and not the
Aakrosh
public.
today is because the Aakrosh today, the Aakrosh today,
blow
Rajiv Desai,
delivered
please calm down.
directly into the solar plexus of the Indian public. And the Indian public
God.
will
Yeah.
Okay, so the
This is
Indian
funny.
public was
There
not
is so
out
much
with
of
you on the
adjective and
streets,
no
Rajiv
comment.
Desai.
This is funny,
Rajiv
actually, I
Desai,
have to say.
if it was such a
I
blow
didn't
on the
realize
solar
the show was
plexus
moving
as
away
you
from the serious
make it
to the
out
realm
to
of the rhetoric.
be, then why were people not
There
on the
are going to be
streets?
riots that
Why
we've
were
never
people
seen.
not on the
There's-
But look at the
streets?
anger here.
already is
Now
Rajiv
look at
Desai.
the
You're talking
anger
about
here.
GDP growth.
That anger was not there on the
industry,
street.
small scale
Bhavika, we
industry,
don't see this
big
anger
industry.
here. You know, Rajiv Desai, it was not a blow to the solar plexus, it was a pickle, sir. And that's left the nation laughing at the opposition,
You have
which has
just
become the
shot
laughing
out
stock.
the tires.
Much as you might not
You
want to
have just
accept
shot
it.
out the tires.
Let's move away.
Of
Rajiv
an
Desai, calm
economy
down.
that was
Rajiv
lurching.
Desai, calm down, please.
Instead of
Calm
trying
down,
to put a
please.
grip on
Sunil
it
Kumar
and
Singh.
bring it back under control.
Sunil Kumar Singh
You
and to
just shut
Mohammad
it
Salim.
out.
No,
Why
not
should
at
I
all.
calm down? I
No,
can
no,
calm down.
we'll have that discussion on another day because today it's about the Aakrosh Divas, which they said that there is anger amongst
but
the
it is
people.
an
We didn't
Aakrosh
see it,
Divas of the
sir.
panelists.
We didn't see it, sir. We're still trying to see it. We didn't see it, sir. Rajiv Desai, I can outshout you if you want me to, but I don't want to, sir. I just want to ask you a straightforward question. Do you think after what you saw out on the street, Sunil Kumar Singh and Mohammad Salim, Sunil Kumar Singh and Mohammad Salim,
Stop doing all this.
I'm just going to quote
This is
Biman Bose
Aakrosh.
from today
This is
before I go to
precisely
Sunil Kumar
Aakrosh.
Singh.
You are
Rajiv
witnessing here.
Desai, please.
You are not seeing the country.
No, Mohammad Salim. Calling a strike in such a short time was a mistake. I'm just quoting him. I admit that it was a decision that was taken in haste without proper homework. We will do internal introspection and will review what went wrong. We will take lessons from this. This is such a complex thing. We need to reach out to people through these experiences. People are facing problems. Sir, how devoid of reality is your leadership, sir? And Sunil Kumar Singh, has the opposition realized today, perhaps, that more people are wanting this remonetization effort to work than for it to not work? And will you, as a responsible opposition party, along with the likes of the BJD, try and tell them, get back into parliament, discuss, debate, and let's ask the right questions rather than trying to do all of this because this is embarrassing all of us?
Anand, we again repeat that JDU with
You should
Nitish Kumar
appreciate the
has been
candidates of the
supporting
left leader,
demonetization for,
and they
for
wanted this
national interest
from the
right from day one.
government, that they accept their mistake and correct it.
Mr. Mohammad Salim, I'm just getting a comment in from JDU and then I'll come to you, sir. Please allow Sunil Kumar Singh a word. He's not spoken right through the debate for the first 30 minutes. Yes, Sunil Kumar Singh.
Honorable Nitish Kumar and JDU right from day one has been supporting demonetization in national interest. And we support the central government with whatever they do. But we feel that it was not properly implemented because of lack of planning, and the common man had to suffer. So on that point of time, we are with that all those people who are concerned with the suffering of common man. But the way of protesting, the intensity of protest, the kind of protest can differ from person to person. Our philosophy is that our protest will be advisory in nature, and we should put pressure on the central government to take immediate steps to alleviate the sufferings of a common man.
So Sunil Kumar Singh, on Tuesday, on Tuesday, do we expect the Janata Dal United and Jai Panda of the Biju Janata Dal to try and impress upon other opposition parties in Parliament to really get everybody to the talking table? Because so far, what we've seen in Parliament, Jai Panda, is the fact that on this issue of remonetization, the entire parliament has been paralyzed. The goalposts keep shifting. One day, there is a demand for the Prime Minister to come in. The second day, the demand is that the Prime Minister should sit through the 28 speakers who have to speak. I mean, what is it that the opposition wants? And can political parties like the Janata Dal United and the Biju Janata Dal not change the narrative in Parliament? You have your presence in Parliament, which can actually explain to the opposition parties that all these concerns can be raised through debate. Why run away from the debate and take to the streets, which inconveniences the common man more than it does anything else?
Mr. Modi ran away from the debate.
Navika, we sincerely feel that for a healthy democracy, for the parliamentary democracy,
that question was to Jay Panda, Mr. Sunil Kumar Singh. Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh, you just answered. My question was to Mr. Jay Panda, that can the JDU and the BJD get together in Parliament?
You know, Navika, I have spent 16 years in Parliament in both houses, and on many occasions I have seen Prime Ministers monitor the debate from their parliamentary office and only come at the end of the debate and then make their presentation. I think that the many in the opposition are getting hung up on a prestige issue. They want the Prime Minister to start the discussion. Also, in the Lok Sabha, the Prime Minister was there a couple of days ago for the Prime Minister's question hour, and he was sitting there during the hullabaloo. And I wish that the rest of the opposition would have allowed the discussion to get started, because then he would have been right there and he could have possibly answered. Anyway, it's not for BJD or JDU to impress upon the others, because each party has their own philosophy. But I think enough time has been wasted. It is high time we must use the Parliament's floor. We must use the floor of Parliament to ask pertinent questions, to ask the government about what further steps they are taking to expedite the transition period, because the inconvenience to the people must be ended as quickly as possible.
Mr. Jay Panda, one more question to you, sir. Sir, this is Anand here. Do you believe that it's the wrong people who are trying to call the shots in the opposition? That there are minds in the opposition who want the discourse in a structure in a different way, who want the debate to happen because that's where they feel they can corner the government and ask the right questions. But there are those, like you said, who are trying to make it a prestige issue.
Anand, after
Mr. Bhadoria, coming to you, sir, after I get this response from Mr. Panda.
I don't want to comment on the attitudes of the other parties in opposition. All I want to say is that as far as we are concerned, as far as BJD is concerned, we have opposed the government on many issues. We opposed the government on the Polavaram Dam, which is bad for Odisha. We have opposed it on the Mahanadi waters dispute. But our opposition is a matter of principle. And when we have taken a stand on principle on any issue, it is consistent, irrespective of who is in government, whether Congress is in power here or BJP is in government. We act on principle. And particularly when, I must tell you something. From my rural Odisha constituency of Kendrapada, I have visited, and there is enormous support for this remonetization move, despite the inconvenience people are facing. So clearly there is a sense in the country that something has to be done about corruption and black money, and what we must focus on is take further steps. This step alone is not enough. And we must also take steps to expedite the supply of new currency, because the transition period cannot be too long, otherwise it will cost the country.
That's right, but Sudhindra Bhadoria, the question is also, and now you've heard it not from the government, you've heard it from a party which is in the opposition, the Biju Janata Dal, which has clearly said that there is great acceptability for this scheme that has been announced by the Prime Minister in the rural areas. People are supporting this move to tackle black money menace in the market. Why is the BSP, why are other opposition parties just using this as a pretext that the poor people are suffering? Isn't the Biju Janata Dal representing the poor people? Aren't they bringing the voices of the poor people? So why are you using this as an excuse to stall Parliament? Why not raise these issues, these concerns of the common man on the floor of the House?
Well, let me put your debate in perspective. It is also within the BJP, there are members of parliament like Shatrughan Sinha who have come out openly against this whole effort being made in which people are suffering. And may I also add, there are members from the
They have questioned the implementation.
who are part of this government who have opposed this.
They have questioned. They have questioned the implementation, sir.
From within the.
They have questioned the implementation.
The government too. Please.
They have raised questions on the implementation. Yes, Mr.
Well, you can look at it from that perspective, but the problem is that people are suffering and people want to raise their issues. And we as responsible opposition, our leader Bahan Mayawati has said this. But let me also say this, that the Prime Minister, when he chooses to speak outside, he blames the entire opposition. He says that as if the entire black money is with the opposition, entire corruption is with.
Sure, because when the session is disrupted, it is blamed on the entire opposition.
Spending hundreds of crores on the marriage of his daughter.
No, the BSP chief. The BSP chief Mayawati may have raised concerns, but she did not turn around and tell her allies in the opposition to allow the House to function, sir. And she has a voice, and she should turn around and tell them to allow the House to function. She should raise the question. She has repeatedly said financial emergency, but not once has she stood up and said, how do we tide over what she claims is a financial emergency?
And adding to the question that Anand is raising, Mr. Sudhindra Bhadoria, when you talk about Mr. Reddy's wedding, nobody has forgotten the visuals of 1,000 rupee note garlands on Mayawati. That's not been forgotten either. That's also in people's minds. So, everywhere where there is a show of wealth, this particular move will go and attack that move. Could you be opposed to that?
Well, I think it is also the responsibility of the Prime Minister who wears the suit from diamond merchants. And is that not part of the black money that the diamond merchants are making?
Let me speak. I'd like to speak. This is really going into the realm of any kind of accusation. I can also tell you making statues with handbags has never happened under any government with public funds.
Well, the diamond merchants, hundreds of crores of rupees.
What diamond merchant? That's an allegation without foundation, sir. What? The diamond merchant bought the suit. He didn't give the suit, sir. Why? He didn't give the suit. You're so wrong on your facts, sir. Just as wrong as your model has been in terms of carrying the handbag and making statues from public funds.
Bharatiya Janata Party cannot absolve itself. The Bharatiya Janata Party cannot absolve itself from the responsibility. They are running the system.
What is this? The theatre of the absurd? If you don't have facts, you make a speech on rhetoric, sir. Let's not have a theatre of the absurd. Let's bring it back on facts, sir. Absolutely. What rhetoric has become the new substitute for facts. That just shows the model we have, sir.
Let him as the Prime Minister.
So you won't allow the Parliament to function. You won't want to hear anybody speak in Parliament, and you say we represent the people and we need to bring the people's thing. The Aakrosh is of the leadership. See Sudhindra ji, see what Rajiv Desai was representing of the Congress. They are the ones in Aakrosh.
Janata mein Rajya Sabha and Sushma Swaraj from the Lok Sabha. Both are on record in the House. Both are on record in the House. Sushma Swaraj in the Lok Sabha and Arun Jaitley in the Rajya Sabha. That it is the responsibility of the government of the day to run the House, which they have failed to do so.
दुर्घटना पे आपने मंत्री को बोलने नहीं दिया तो
Nalin Kohli, have the ghosts come back to haunt you. Nalin Kohli, have the ghosts come back to haunt you, because what Mr. Sudhindra Bhadoria is saying is he's repeating the sentences that were, the claims that were made by both Arun Jaitley in the Rajya Sabha when he was leader of opposition and Sushma Swaraj when she was leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. Both of them said that disruption is a legitimate process of the opposition. It's an instrument of the opposition in a democracy. Only 61% of work was done when your party was in opposition. Is the ghost coming back to haunt you, Nalin Kohli? Is the opposition doing exactly what you did when you were in opposition?
You can disrupt with substance or you can disrupt without substance and cause. I think that's the difference. Why was there a disruption under the UPA? You had 2G, you had Sunil ji. Please allow me to speak, sir. Let me speak, sir. Let me speak, sir. I am Nalin Kohli, unless you wish to be Nalin Kohli. I have no problem if you are so taken and wish to be Nalin Kohli.
Bulldozing the Parliament, entering Parliament.
No, sir, you may be Nalin Kohli if you wish.
During the
Mr. Bhadoria, Mr. Bhadoria. Mr. Bhadoria,
I don't wish to be Mr. Bhadoria.
Can you hear me, sir?
Only what I am.
Allow Mr. Nalin. May I make a point? Mr. Bhadoria, please calm down. Mr. Bhadoria, Mr. Bhadoria, you're a seasoned. Sir, you're a seasoned orator, sir. You know that this intervention is not going to work because Nalin Kohli needs to make a response. He needs to respond to this question. We are just saying we would so love to see we would so love to see this kind of an engagement. We'd like to see this kind of an engagement in Parliament with the House functioning. That will be fun to see the BJP and BSP's power. Yes, Nalin Kohli, quick response before we go to Rajiv Desai.
Because even when we've had disruptions during the current session or before that, work has transacted. So I do believe in the glory of Parliament. It will happen. I have no doubts about it. It's a phase. Now, when you're looking at the difference of the UPA and this, was 2G not a reality? 3G was not a reality? Coalgate was not a scam? Was the government of that day not trying to bulldoze over it? Some of the most colossal scams ever that took place. That is the cause and the reason of the disruption. Today, show me the cause and reason. The cause and reason today is against a black money
Because
scheme
100 people have
in
died.
which there is no Aakrosh.
Nalin Kohli, the cause and reason today.
No,
Is
Mr.
it
Bhadoria,
not that
Mr. Bhadoria, one
100
sec.
people
No,
have
Mr.
died
Bhadoria.
standing in queues?
No,
Does not
Nalin
disturb
Kohli,
you?
today,
I think it
today
disturbs
the
our
reason
conscience.
is,
It disturbs
today the
conscience
reason
of the
is
nation.
very important and
It
very
does
prestigious
disturb
for the very
conscience
same
of the
opposition
nation.
which tried to
It does
block
disturb
any
the
discourse at that time. No, Nalin Kohli, please understand. Today the fact is, imagine that.
Whether that happens while working, whether it happens standing in a PDS queue for the last 40 years as we've seen, or it happens in a bank queue, every death has to be condoled, sir.
Yes.
I think
and after that, and it's great that you made that point. Sudhindra Bhadoria, the point is, sir, when the disruption happens, because you're seeking answers on perhaps scams which are voluminous and governments fell because of those scams, then the disruption has another meaning compared to the fact that the Prime Minister did not sit for the debate. Make the Prime Minister sit.
Well, I think...
What kind of an ego trip is that, sir? And why should that be allowed and why should that be tolerated? Rajiv Desai, as I come back to you, Rajiv Desai, as I come back to you, please.
Let me say.
Mr. Bhadoria, Rajiv Desai, one sec. Yes, Mr. Bhadoria, quick response.
I have two questions.
In a holistic manner.
I have several
Mr.
questions.
Mr. Desai, allow Mr. Bhadoria 15 seconds and then you may start.
Questions of substance.
Well, it is here, when we see this in totality and in a holistic manner, I think we have to respond to the challenge of today. The response is that 100 people have died, crores of people are in queues.
No, the response is, sir, ask the government the right questions on the floor of the House. The response is, get this government to answer the question, sir. Response, Mr. Bhadoria, is to show this Aakrosh in Parliament by way of fiery questions to the government with which they have to answer. That is what is a response, sir.
And not only that, Anand, the fact is also, Mr. Bhadoria, that you demand the Prime Minister should not speak outside Parliament when the Parliament is in session. He should speak inside Parliament, but inside Parliament you will not allow him to speak because you're disrupting Parliament. Just which way do you want to go? Is it all about an ego battle between the opposition and the Treasury benches and making this a prestige issue that the Prime Minister should sit through a debate of 28 speakers? That's not what this country wants to see. This country wants to see some valid questions being raised and being answered by the government. But let me now go across to Rajiv Desai. Rajiv Desai, the question is once again, is it about competitive politics between opposition parties?
Actually,
is it about competitive politics? Because the Congress will not march with the left will march separately, the Congress will march separately, but they will meet together in the same room in Parliament and decide to hold up Parliament forever. Is that what this competitive politics is really resulting in?
Well, I know if that's the case, then it's too bad. Somebody should do something about it. But my question is this: why was the demonetization carried out? Was it to get black money back into the system? Was it to speed up the economy into a cashless one? Was it to get rid of counterfeit notes? Was it to put down the Kashmir insurrection? What was it? If in fact it was about black money, how much black money have they estimated that they can get back? We don't have any clarity on that. How long will it take? What was the necessity to get rid of 87% of the notes without having adequate preparations, which has now become very clear? For which reason people are out in lines and suffering. And why should anybody suffer just because there is a political standoff between party A and party B? I mean, this is taking a hatchet to the knee.
But Mr. Rajiv Desai, the Prime Minister at the outside said he needs 50 days time to sort this entire issue out. There was a secrecy involved, and 50 days is not a long time in the life of a country. 50 days is what he's asked for to sort out the problems of lack of currency.
Don't talk like that.
Availability.
That's not fair. Navika, he can have his 50 days. He can have his 50 days. But please tell us, how much money do you estimate
Have
you,
his
you,
50
you will
days?
collect? How much money?
What is
there
this, a
in cash?
birthday gift
How
being
much
given
money
to the
there is
Prime
in
Minister?
assets?
Wait, no, no,
Have
wait,
his
no, no,
50
wait,
days?
wait, Nalin Kohli.
What kind of language are we seeing here?
Did you know?
Have his
Did you
50
know?
days?
Did you know?
I mean, is
Nalin
this
Kohli.
what? Some
Nalin
kind of a
Kohli. Nalin
return
Kohli.
gift or
What
something from
language?
Mr. Desai to the Prime Minister of India?
No, 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 not at all.
Yeah,
What are we talking about? Have his 50
I'm a
days?
citizen of India.
What
He asked
ridiculous
me for
language
it,
we
I
are
said,
seeing
yes, have
here.
it. What nonsense! Nalin Kohli, don't
Again,
change the
is it
subject.
a product?
Don't change the subject.
Rajiv
Is it
Desai,
a
Rajiv
product?
Since you change the
What are we
subject.
talking
Rajiv
about? What kind of
Desai,
communication is this? Have his
Rajiv
50
Desai, Nalin
days?
Kohli.
The citizens of
Rajiv
India.
Have his 50 days.
Nalin Kohli.
Is Mr.
I'm a
Desai
citizen
now
of
the new
India,
person
and I
who is
say,
going to
yes,
determine about the Prime
have your
Minister and the
50
Prime
days.
Minister what
Don't
the Prime
change the
Minister decides
subject.
to tell the
You always
nation?
do this. What
Nalin
about
Kohli.
the
Change the
Nalin
subject.
Kohli.
I'm just
Nothing
pointing
to
out
ask.
what are you
You
speaking,
know,
sir, the
you know
inconsistencies
that
and the kind of
cut off
language you are
knees.
bringing, sir.
You cut off the knees of the Indian economy,
Right.
and it's going to
Okay.
take years
Okay.
to
Rajiv
get
Desai,
it back.
Rajiv
So
Desai.
now we have a communication
Rajiv Desai.
expert who's the
Rajiv
ultimate
Desai.
economist.
It's going
Wonderful.
to take
Rajiv Desai,
Have
hang
his
on.
50
Nalin
days
Kohli.
now the
Nalin Kohli,
economic
please
theory.
wait.
You
No,
don't
no,
talk
Nalin
short.
Kohli, please
You
wait. Nalin Kohli,
always
please
do
wait.
this
Nalin Kohli,
water
please
lottery.
wait.
You
Nalin
always
Kohli,
do
please
this
wait.
slant. You
Okay.
always, it
Okay,
always
Rajiv
seems
Desai,
like
calm
nobody,
down.
nobody
Rajiv Desai.
even bothered
Sir,
to see what's really happening.
will you
on the ground.
will you please accept a compliment from me, sir?
You know, this is a sum. This only
First of
shows
all,
if you
some
can hear me,
Anand.
this is Anand
you
here.
know,
Rajiv
you
Desai,
take
please,
anybody who
please
opposes
allow me
your
this.
proposition.
Allow me 30
The
seconds to
only
make
way
my point.
anybody who opposes
Nalin
your
Kohli, your objection has been
can get a
noted,
word
sir.
in is by
Noted,
shouting.
sir.
And then you
Please,
turn
please,
around and
please
say,
don't
calm
mind
down.
it.
On the other hand, you
We
let
will
this
try
guy
and
Kohli
yeah.
speak.
Okay.
Let all the guys
Okay.
go and say,
Okay. Rajiv Desai. Rajiv Desai. Rajiv Desai.
But
You
every
raised some
minute you
fantastic
interrupted
questions,
me.
sir.
What do you expect
Rajiv
me to
Desai.
do? What
Rajiv
do you
Desai.
expect me to do?
Rajiv
This is-
Desai. I'm asking you, sir. You raised some fantastic questions. You raised some great questions of the government. You raised
It's
some
also a great spectacle in
fantastic
terms of
I
Aakrosh.
must tell you, we want
There's no
we
Aakrosh in the
want
Janata, but I can
we
say
want to
this
put
panel
these
has
questions
really got
out
some
on the
Aakrosh
I have nothing to
newshour.
do
We
with
want
the
to put these
politics.
questions out on the newshour. But
am
Rajiv
ask only
Desai,
that.
why
Ask only that.
isn't Rahul Gandhi asking this question? Why isn't Rahul Gandhi asking this on the floor of the House? Why isn't Ghulam
How
Nabi
would I
Azad
know?
asking this of the
How would
finance
I
minister
know?
on the floor
Why
of the
would
House?
I care? I'm talking
You should
about
know,
that's
sir.
the whole
You should
point.
know, sir. Just like
Yes,
you
I
as a
lean
citizen of this
towards the
country,
Congress.
just
That
like you
doesn't
as a
mean that
citizen
I
of the
speak
country
for them.
said,
I
the
lean
Prime
towards
Minister
the
can
Congress
have
and
his
support
50
their
days. Why can't you tell the opposition, give me my 22 sittings? Why can't you tell the opposition, give me my 22 sittings, just like you said, the Prime Minister can have his 50 days? Why can't you say now?
No, it's very
Tell
simple.
Rahul Gandhi,
No, it's
give me my
I
22
support the
sittings.
protest.
7 of them
I
you have
support
already
the
spoiled.
protest.
You
Because
give me
I
the
think
remaining
this
ones.
action
How
is
dare you
politically
disrupt and take away my
It has
22
nothing
sittings?
to do with the
When you
economy.
can tell the
And
Prime
that's why I
Minister he can
support
have
the
his
protest.
50 days,
I support
tell
the
Rahul Gandhi,
protest, and
give me
I'm
my
not going
remaining
to ask
15
you.
days.
But I will ask you.
You have taken,
the
you have not, you have
answer the
denied me my 22 sittings,
I
which is
don't
my
care,
right.
Rajiv Gandhi,
I am
whoever,
paying as a
doesn't matter
taxpayer
to me.
your wages
It doesn't
and your
matter to
expenses,
me.
not to
All
disrupt
I'm
Parliament,
saying
but to
is,
ask
I
the
support
questions that I want the answers
I
to.
don't.
That's the
Say
point.
that to Rahul Gandhi today.
Rajiv Desai,
Desai.
every single
not a
minute
real-
in Parliament
it's not
costs
a
the
really
exchequer
viable economic
2.5
option.
lakh rupees. That's money out of the taxpayer's pocket. And therefore,
And what
the
about-
people
hello,
of this country
excuse me,
don't want an
excuse me.
Aakrosh
I'll
Divas.
tell you
They
what,
want
I'll
an
tell you what, I'll tell you what,
accountability
I'll tell
from
you what.
every single
I'll tell you
parliamentarian.
what.
And let me take
I'll
that
tell you
question
what.
to Naresh
Then
Gujral of the Shiromani Akali Dal.
I am about.
Naresh Gujral, is the NDA embarrassed that parties like the Shiv Sena criticize the move of the government one day, go and march with the opposition on one day, the next day they are willy-nilly left with the NDA because they want a share of the pie of the power? Is there something that's stalling the entire decision-making process in Parliament from raising the concerns on the floor of the House to voicing the concerns of the people? Why make it an ego battle in Parliament by demanding the Prime Minister sit through every single debater in Parliament?
Well, Navika, first of all, I can't answer for the Shiv Sena. I'm not their representative, and their stand, very frankly, I can't comprehend myself. But as far as the anger is concerned, there is a lot of anger in the MPs of the Congress, of the parties like Samajwadi or even Mrs. Mayawati's party. They are angry because they feel feel that their leadership is letting them down. They know that the national mood is totally different from what their leaders are believing it to be. And of course, everybody wants Parliament to function. In fact, let me tell you, the other day the Prime Minister sat in the Rajya Sabha for an hour when the debate started. But they expect the Prime Minister to sit through 6-7 hours. That is totally unbelievable. It's never happened before. Whether it was 2G or whether it was Commonwealth Games or Colgate scam, Dr. Manmohan Singh never sat through any of those debates. Tomorrow they will say Prime Minister must sit through a price rise
Mr.
debate.
Gujral, as a seasoned politician,
I mean,
sir,
this is ridiculous completely.
Mr. Gujral, as a seasoned politician, don't you think all these people know? They have all got similar number of years as parliamentarians. No, so don't they all know that the Prime Minister cannot sit and does not sit? But the Prime Minister intervenes. The Prime Minister listens to every debate and responds to every query. That has been the norm. But despite knowing this, if you have seasoned parliamentarians behaving in such a manner, Mr. Naresh Gujral, what do you make of it? That they are just on an ego trip.
Exactly
this entire Aakrosh Divas has been somebody's figment of imagination, which is a huge flop show, sir. It's embarrassing for the opposition.
As I said earlier, they are totally out of sync. The Prime Minister has never said that he will not address both houses of Parliament, but they don't give him a chance. He sat through very patiently for an hour. Even Mayawati ji spoke, Naresh Agrawal spoke, Derek O'Brien spoke, but to expect him to sit through 25 speakers, that is totally ridiculous. It never happened before.
That's the unfair demand, Mohammad Salim. Mohammad Salim, if you want the Prime Minister to intervene and respond to the queries of the opposition, he's just assured the House that he would do that. The government has assured, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister has assured, the Home Minister Rajnath Singh today assured. In fact, last week it was leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha, Mr. Arun Jaitley, who assured. How many assurances do you want that the Prime Minister will respond to the queries and the concerns of the opposition? Then why is there such an ego battle between the government and the opposition side over the sitting of the Prime Minister through an entire debate of 28 speakers?
Navika, you have more experience of parliamentary policies and the proceedings. So first of all, nobody asked that let the Prime Minister sit through. But the very first week, from BJP
That's what the Congress is demanding.
Ministers announced, ये अगर बच्चा जवाब दे सकता है तो बाप का क्या जरूरत है? Allow me, just listen. Don't jump the gun. Secondly, what we are saying is, in the allocation of business, you see the rule book, allocation of business is a Prime Minister who is responsible policy things, all policy matters. So all this scam or other things important, BJP demanded Prime Minister, it's okay, but here it's a policy matter and you are telling whole country wants to know, whole country is supporting or opposing whatever you see from your angle. But then policy which Prime Minister unfolded, which he led from the front, so what we said that he face the Parliament, come to the Parliament and listen to the debates and respond to that. So very first day, the Prime Minister was not supposed to.
For all
then
the
only after the pressure mounted, he accepted. We accepted. Then there comes the rules.
No.
Then comes the rules. No. Please, you don't have the Parliament procedure.
Which rule says that the Prime Minister should sit through an entire debate while every speaker is speaking? Please educate us, Mr. Mohammad Salim. Which rule says that the Prime Minister should sit through every single speaker?
What I am saying with full authority, I am talking about the rules, and what I am saying is a policy matters. Prime Minister is supposed to lead this debate, listen to the debate and answer. Nobody asked for sit through for whole time. But Prime Minister is a hard-working Prime Minister. He works for 25 hours on a 24 hours day. You have publicized that from the foreign tours. But when he is in the Parliament precincts, in the Parliament building, he should have come. And
but Mohammad Salim, this is not what we heard on the floor of the House. What we heard on the floor of the House is
of Indian economy.
Pradhan Mantri आए यहाँ बैठे हमारी बात सुने तब ये सदन चलेगा. Mohammad Salim, if you want, this is what tall leaders in the opposition said. प्रधानमंत्री आए यहाँ बैठे हमारी बात सुने तब सदन चलेगा. Now,
what rubbish?
No, sir. Now you're again shifting the goalpost. Why are those people? Why aren't you turning around and telling anybody? Why aren't you telling anybody? I am asking you, sir. I am asking. No. I am saying this is what you people have decided, sir.
Let's responsible. They are just thinking responsibility.
The adjournment motion admission, Mr. Mohammad Salim, is up to the chair. If the chair allows an adjournment motion, then the debate will be under the adjournment motion with voting at the end. If the chair does not allow, then it will not happen.
So that is
That's
what
a decision the
opposition is
chair has to
advocating.
take. And Jay Panda, you're an experienced parliamentarian too. Would you like to tell the opposition in the left, saying that they cannot dictate terms to the chair? The chair will take a decision as and when required in the manner the rule book suggests.
Members, Jay Panda, senior member.
So I want to say two things.
You show the clipping.
I want to say-
what is the responsibility of the government? Bhatri Matab to recite.
Jay Panda speaking.
Let me
Mohammad
explain.
Salim.
Let me say two things. First of all, do you think the average citizen on the street cares the least bit about at what point the Prime Minister intervenes in the debate, at the beginning or the end? The citizen on the street is most interested in how quickly this inconvenience can be overcome, because the support is still there. Now, second thing, regarding the adjournment motion and the rules, I have been advocating for a very long time that too much of our parliament is left to consensus. So even though the speaker is supposed to rule on it, she has to take a sense of both the treasury benches as well as the opposition benches. We don't have strict rule-bound norms that if, say, 50 MPs sign on it, it has to be an adjournment motion and things like that. So we need to bring about more reform of parliamentary rules. But the fact remains, until then, it is consensus-based and it is left to the sense for the speaker to decide.
Absolutely, and given the fact that it is at the moment the decision and discretion of the chair, of the speaker, then the debate norms will be decided by the speaker. In the meanwhile, let there at least be a debate. Let all political parties raise the questions of the inconveniences faced by the people on the floor of the House, so that they can demand some answers from the government, rather than just holding up Parliament completely for 9 days in a row out of the 22 days that the winter session entails, and leave all the questions to be fought on the streets when the common man doesn't get a single response from the government to the questions they've raised. On that note, we'll have to thank all our panelists, Sudhindra Bhadoria, Nalin Kohli, Jay Panda, Mr. Naresh Gujral, Rajiv Desai, Mohammad Salim, Sunil Kumar and Anand. We've had a very good discussion on this one. We hope that on Tuesday we'll see some work in Parliament.
Because the egos have been busted. The Aakrosh Divas flop is the message that these ego battles won't work, because the people don't bother about egos. They want work done in Parliament, and that's the message that's come today, this Monday. Let's see what happens on Tuesday.